Yesterday, this was my 9-year-old Yamaha R1 that had plenty of horsepower and can do 200 miles per hour. Today, it still does that. But now with Apple CarPlay, Dashcams front and back, tire pressure monitoring, blind spot detection, an SOS feature, a lean angle sensor, and more. And this is my Triumph Speed Triple. It has none of that, despite being only 2 years old.
That's because a lot of motorcycles are lagging behind technology found in cars. Sure, some of those features can be found on a brand new $20,000 1300 GS, but not everyone wants one of those.
That's the cool part. These features can be added to any bike, new or old, fast or slow, thanks to this little device called the Chiggy AI06. Now, I'm sure you have a lot of sensible questions about it, like,
why isn't it called Apple Bike Play? Or do you have to be a rocket scientist to install it? Or will it get banned like TikTok?
So today, I'm going to answer all the questions I know you would have asked had I actually given you the opportunity to do so.
Playing with all of the tech is one of my favorite things about testing new bikes, because I love technology.
Except for ABS and traction control. Motorcycles are dangerous for a reason. Stop trying to make them safer. Okay, so maybe I'm actually quite picky about what tech I like, but I'm all for stuff like CarPlay, tire pressure monitoring, and I love data like lean angle.
If you're like me, you've probably seen videos about the Chiggy AI05 Lite floating around the internet, and tons of similar products.
But for some reason, I never watch those videos. They intrigue me, but the pessimistic side of me always assumes that installing something like that is more trouble than it is worth, and it can't possibly work on a Superbike anyway, right?
Thus, when Chiggy reached out with their new AI06, I knew this was my chance to put those negative assumptions to the test.
So full disclosure, this is a sponsored first look video. It is not a review, because I am much more polite when people pay me, aren't we all? But that won't stop me from testing this device's claims where possible.
Why is it packaged better than my iPhone? The sheer size of this package shocked me when it arrived. The top opens to reveal the screen itself, which is also the brain of the system, both cameras and 2 mounts, one regular and one BMW specific mount. The first drawer contains connectors for BMW and OBD ports, tire pressure sensors, a remote control, and 4 mounting options: a handlebar mount, mirror mount, crossbar mount, and a stem mount. And under drawer number 2, it's all the various tools, adapters, cable ties, and wires you could possibly need to install it. However, this is the custom creator bundle to show its full capabilities the best way possible. You don't have to buy all of these options. Is it Red Bull proof? So now that you have Apple CarPlay on your bike, you'll probably want cup holders next. And then you'll start drinking Red Bull on your rides, and that will inevitably lead to some splashing on the screen. Thankfully, it's IP69K certified, so it can even handle the big Red Bull can.
Or just regular weather, I guess. Technically, that means that it can be submerged underwater, which none of my bikes can do without breathing it in and getting hydro-locked. But most importantly, it means it can withstand pressure washers, hot ones too, so there is no reason to baby this unit.
To be honest, the build quality surprised me, with the amount of metal in both the device and mounts. They clearly know how abusive bikers can be.
But I think I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here.
Do you have to be a rocket scientist to install it?
I don't know. Unfortunately, I bought a Triumph Speed Triple, not the rocket, so I'm just a Speed Triple scientist. But let's find out. To be honest, I am kind of dreading this because installing things like this on a bike often doesn't go very smoothly, especially on a superbike where space is sort of at a shortage. The manufacturer has used all of it to get it this slim. An adventure bike is a different story. There's so much extra space and it's easy to route cables, but this I fear might be difficult.
I started with the screen because I wanted more time to procrastinate about the wiring. The stem mount just slots into the hole and you just tighten the bolt until it expands and is snug. Then I bolted the quick release plate to that, since I want to be able to remove the unit whenever I need to, and then bolted that attachment to the back of the screen as well. Next, I moved on to the cameras. On the front, I have a nice clean spot to stick them under my intake, but I was scared that it would bump my mudguard when the forks compress, so I ended up sticking it slightly off to the side under the headlight. On the rear, I also placed it off to the side so that it looks neat and so it's close to the hole where the number plate bracket used to go, so I can use that to route the cables easily. And still procrastinating, I turned to the tire pressure sensors.
Before the unit arrived, I was dreading having to install the tire pressure sensors because usually those go on the inside of the tire. So I thought I'd have to get the tires dismounted and remounted just to be able to install those. So I was pleasantly surprised when it turned out that they're just fancy valve caps.
I think this nut is supposed to go on first before threading on the valve caps, and then they're used as a lock nut to stop the cap coming off, since it's heavier than the average valve cap.
But I later learned that you're only supposed to install those later on once the unit is powered up so that you can calibrate them. You live and you learn.
Then I was forced to strip the bike back a bit to run the wires. The power lead goes to each battery terminal, and a third wire needs to be spliced into a wire that only gets power when the ignition is on, so it can't drain your battery when the bike's off.
I wasn't looking forward to this part either because I suck at electrical work, but their website explains it very clearly, and they even provide these little things that make splicing into a cable super quick and easy.
Then all you have to do is connect the color-coded wires, both cameras and power, and you're done and ready to test your workmanship, after the satisfying peel that is. And surprisingly, mine turned on.
So I've spent all of this time dreading the install for nothing. Even as just a speed triple scientist, it took me roughly 2 hours, but that was also with filming everything. And I think it could be even faster if you have an adventure bike, for example, because you wouldn't have to strip it as much.
Is it useless without my phone? There are kind of two sides to this device. There's Chiggy's side, which doesn't require a phone, and then there's the wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto side of things, which obviously does require a phone.
So life with a phone results in everything you probably know and love about CarPlay or Android Auto.
You get access to your favorite navigation apps like Waze, alerting you about cops up ahead. You can control your music and take phone calls with your Bluetooth headset, and even see notifications coming through without having to touch your phone.
And you can do all of this without putting as much strain on your phone's battery as you would if you had it mounted to a phone mount on your handlebars. There's nothing better than dedicated devices in my opinion. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. It can do even more without having a phone nearby.
Chiggy software offers GPS features like speed, bearing, and elevation. It also gives you a post-ride report and logs your route. And don't forget fun features like lean angle and even battery voltage. What if someone tries to steal it? Even with the quick release mount, you can still bolt it to the bike with this little tool to keep it safe. But it has another party trick too. Under this rubber seal, you can install a SIM card.
So think about it. It can now communicate with your phone even when they're not together, and vice versa. This unlocks a whole host of capabilities I'd never even considered.
For example, their idea is that if it detects vibrations as though someone is trying to steal your bike, it will notify you, and you can then live stream the dashcams to see what is going on with your bike.
So if you see that the burglar is smaller than you can go out there and beat him up. And if he looks bigger than you can call the police.
This means you could potentially track your bike's location too. And even if your mate just borrows your bike, you can check in to see if he's treating it well or not.
It's kinda creepy, but also really cool. I believe they're also going to offer a version without LTE in case that's not up your street.
A feature I originally thought was nonsense is the weather, but it's kind of cool to see the next few hours of weather before you set off on your ride.
And probably their best idea is their SOS feature. Just like a lot of smartwatches and even some bikes are doing these days, if you crash and no movement is detected, it will automatically reach out to your emergency contact. So now you can't even crash in peace. Your wife will find you and shout at you.
My BMW is too good for that.
That's not a question, but you probably don't use your turn signals either, so this fits your character. However, this actually speaks the same love language as your BMW.
This dongle plugs into a BMW connector that then allows you to use the traditional BMW wheel on the left handlebar to control it, just like a real BMW unit.
There's also this dongle that plugs into your bike's OBD port, and then it can retrieve data from your bike, like engine RPMs for example, and display it on the dash. Unfortunately, neither of these adapters fit my bike's diagnostic port, but if you have a newer bike, this is a really cool feature with a lot of possibilities.
Does the touchscreen work with gloves?
I sure as hell hope so.
I made sure to try my motocross gloves, my Dainese full-length gloves, and even my everyday riding gloves. And I think we're in the clear.
Obviously, if you're a BMW rider, that doesn't really matter because you can use your magic wheel to control it.
But actually, the rest of us are fine too, because it comes with a wireless remote that can be mounted to your handlebars for hands-free control.
Take that, BMW riders. Now we're all going to be too preoccupied to signal.
What if I have to pump my tires? Due to that lock nut on the valve caps, you would need a 10mm wrench to get the caps off to pump your tires.
Kind of annoying, but they do include a little tool for you if need be.
Then your front and rear pressures are displayed in either PSI or bar.
Sorry, KPA fans.
How do you know if it's lying about your pressures?
I don't know. Let's test it. So, the dash currently says 2.2 bar front and rear. I've got a pressure gauge, let's check it. I have already loosened off the lock nuts so we can get the valve caps off nice and easily. There's a bit of air that escaped already. Try and do this without letting air out. There we go. And that says between 2.3 and 2.4 bar. Sorry, this is only in KPA. I know it's not a fan of KPA, but that's not terribly far off. You could argue that these valve caps are more accurate than my pressure gauge. And this one says exactly the same. So at least those valve caps are consistent. So one of these two gauges is accurate, and as soon as you figure out which one you prefer, you can stick to it. I like this idea because some days you just feel off and you're not sure if it's you or if you really do have a flat tire. So you end up trying to hang off the bike to see if either of your tires are flat. Now you can just glance down and know for certain. Much safer.
Are the cameras as bad as CCTV?
They're not quite on the level of Insta360's 8K cameras, but they get the job done just fine.
This is what their footage looks like. It's Full HD or 1080p, and you can choose between 30 or 60 FPS. You can also install your own SD card to increase its storage capacity, like all normal dashcams then. But since you have a screen, you can also use the rear camera as a rear view mirror while riding along. Pretty handy on a sport bike where your shoulders often get in the way.
But naturally, they took this tech one step further and used it for blind spot detection as well. So it can warn you if there are vehicles in your blind spots, just like a lot of modern cars do with warning lights in each of the wing mirrors. And I believe there might be a radar unit coming soon as well to make it even more precise, but at the moment, it just works with the cameras.
Doesn't technology make motorcycling worse?
This is a stance that a lot of people take, and in some ways, I agree, like with my take on ABS and traction control. That's why it's cool that all of the features on the AIO6 are optional.
If you don't want dashcams, you don't have to have them. The same can be said for the remote, the tire pressure monitoring sensors, the OBD dongles, and even the SIM card. For example, personally, I don't want the dashcams, but I love the idea of CarPlay, lean angle, and route tracking.
But anyway, let me know what you think about all of these features and which ones you'd want on your bike. I'll leave links down below to find out more information or to order your own AIO6, and I'll see you on the next ride.